So before I dive in, the title of my speech is Heartbroken, Homeless, and Happier Than Ever Before. So although there is definitely a positive spin on the story I'm telling today, it does involve weight and trauma, so please take the space you need as I tell my story. My name is Steph Seiden, and this is my 3rd year of well-being. I spent the first 22 years of my life in absolute survival mode. I have complex developmental PTSD, which in Buddhist terminology means that until I was 22, all of my karma was linked to trauma. And something that's unique about complex developmental PTSD is that my symptoms are other mental ailments. So if something's triggering to me, it sends me off into a week or a year of ADHD, or depression, or chronic illness, or disordered eating, or anxiety.
Something different than I did last night.
But I say that this was until I was 22. So let me explain what happened. In 2018, I was bedridden with pneumonia for 3 months. And then as soon as I got out of bed, the first person I ever loved broke up with me. And then I graduated college. And then I moved to New York temporarily, or so I thought. I was trying to move to London. And I was living with my abusive father. And at the time, I didn't really know he was abusive. He was my parent, and he had been around for the first 22 years of my life. I didn't know another story. And about 2 weeks after I was living with him, he had a violent outburst. And thankfully, I wasn't there, but he destroyed a bunch of my belongings. I moved out at 3 a.m. I put everything in my sister's car, and I spent my savings keeping that car safe in a garage. There was one suitcase that didn't fit in the car, so I took it with me to Manhattan, and I couch surfed for a year. Here's the other thing about me. I'm a happiness expert. So I just told you this long list of terrible traumas and weight and whatnot, but I really know what I'm talking about when it comes to happiness. Because when you're 2 or 3 and you're born into a house with abuse and your body starts to shut down, you don't have control over anything. But so quickly, I just clung to joy. I think of myself as a warrior of positivity. And in high school, I was like, well, how does it all work? So I started studying positive psychology. I found that happiness is a technology of the mind, and that once you understand the tool, you can create as much of it as you want. So that's what I did. I created so much happiness that it balanced out the sadness. But the thing about creating happiness is that it doesn't help you release the sorrow. I started meditating 7 years ago at Nyamgal Monastery Institute in Ithaca, New York, where there are a bunch of monks, and they invite you in, and they don't say anything to you, and you come in and you take a cushion and they chant, and you sit. And I would come in every Friday at 5 p.m. and I would close my eyes and think, okay, either I die or I make it through the next hour. And magically, I made it through the next hour every time, and I think it planted a seed of resilience that throughout all of college, through the culmination of my traumas and abuse, there was this constant knowledge that, well, I can make it through the next hour. And so I did. So coming back to 22, this year that everything blew up, I walked into 3 Joules and I took a donation-based 3:30 p.m. breath and basic class with Supriya. And my meditation practice deepened because I learned about karma, emptiness, and the ultimate reality. And now, of course, I took what I needed to from this class, which was that emptiness in my mind at 22 was, okay, so I just lost everything. My health, my love, my financial stability, my parent, my home, everything I knew about myself was absolutely gone. And because of emptiness, I looked at it and was like, oh, okay. What can I do with this blank canvas now? And so that's the positive spin, right? So in my first year of wellness, I used meditation to understand that I was in control. And that I could release things. And in my second year of wellness, I went inward, even further. In Brené Brown's famous TED Talk on vulnerability, she says, in order to connect, we need to be seen, really seen. And I once took a meditation class where the teacher told me to close my eyes, really close my eyes, and all of a sudden it made sense. In order to connect with each other, we must allow ourselves to be seen. And in order to connect with ourselves, we must allow ourselves to be seen. And so I did just that in my second year of wellness. I closed my eyes and I went inward and I said, okay, society says that everything that happened to me was bad, and I know that everything that happened to me was good. So I peeled back that layer and I found this joyful liberation, the happiness, everything that I knew was true about myself. And I was like, okay, if society says this about my trauma, what does society say about other things? What other layers can I peel back? So my second year was just pure solitude, going inward, figuring out what my story was and how I was going to put it onto that blank canvas. And like I said, I am in year 3, and it is entirely about relationships. I went inward and I saw myself, and now I'm finally ready to allow you all to see me. And I've done so joyfully over the past 11 weeks. This is the first community I've allowed to see my new, bright, shiny, well, happy self. And I'm so grateful for you all. Meditation is a tool, and I think it is the ultimate tool for creation and connection. The first 22 years of my life were spent in utter survival mode, protecting my heart from breaking. But now I know that the heart lives by breaking. Thank you.